Healing covers every aspect of man. Healing brings peace. There could be no peace unless there is wellness in the body, because most certainly taking an inorganic substance does not help, and compounded by a carcinogen, worse. What is disease? Because it seems to be misinterpreted. Everyone is talking about departmentalizing or individualizing disease. When you have diabetes, it's different from having leukemia. When you have sickle cell anemia, it's not like leukemia, they're different. When they are not, they've never been different. They're coming from the same source. The mucous membrane of our biological structure has been compromised, meaning that the mucous membrane has been broken. And wherever that break has taken place would determine the disease that you would manifest. Like, for instance, like we always say, if the mucous membrane has been compromised in the nasal passage, it is what? Sinusitis. In the bronchial tubes, bronchitis. On the lungs, pneumonia. In the pancreas, diabetes. On the brain, schizophrenia, paranoia, or Parkinson's disease, insomnia, depending where the mucus is located. There is only one disease manifesting in 1,000 different ways: the compromising of the mucous membrane. We could begin by saying the herbs are for the healing of the nations. In the book of Genesis, in the book of Ezekiel, in the book of Revelation, it is stated in 3 different parts in the Bible that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Well, one would easily ask what went wrong. If the herbs are for the healing of the nation and God is saying it, what could have gone wrong that caused us to detour from that? This question has been answered? No. They have not been answered, because the whole population of the planet is consistently and constantly using products that God did not design for healing. The herbs are for the healing of the nations. Well, if we do not want to accept that because it is too simple, but God said it, we could take it on another level, the historical level. The herbs were used by the great doctor Hippocrates, the one that was given the credit as being the first doctor that laid the foundation of medical science, although there are history that Imhotep I was the first. But you know, the Greeks wanted to be number one. What did he use? Chemicals or herbs? Kind of funny, isn't it? Because in the days of Hippocrates, it was said, and it is known, according to his history, he cured all disease. Every disease known to man, using herbs as the base of his curative energy. Well, if the father of medicine established the principle of medical science, why are we using chemicals today and we are not addressing to either one? There are any disease that has been cured with an inorganic chemical. If we want to take it higher into a scientific level, we find that the herbs contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with everything. Why? The composition of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen is the base for all living things. All living species, plants, animal, and men. Carbon base all life. When carbon is absent, life does not exist. It is as simple as that. So now we understand that for the body to assimilate something, it must contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, because the body is composed of such structure. We have it ecclesiastically, historically, and scientifically. Assimilation only means something going into the body and becoming one with you, uniting. The only substance that could unite would be a substance that the body is already composed of. Scientists tell us that there are approximately 104 minerals in the soil. So the body contains the same amount. Ingesting one or more of these minerals, the body would accept them. But if I take a chemical that does not appear in my structure, my biological structure, my body, with what the substance taken going to unite with? And everything unites in the body through chemical affinity. There could be no affinity because I am not made of inorganic chemicals. So you see, it is very easy to understand this. But how are we capable of differentiating or separating a plant that came with life and a plant that was made by God? It becomes very difficult. You have to compare them with life. That is Mother Nature. Now we begin the journey. Starch is counter life, against life. Nature did not produce a starch substance. That is a yardstick or a method that you could use to be able to navigate through the maze. If the molecular structure is incomplete, meaning a hybrid plant, it cannot be electrical. If man could make a substance in a laboratory, how could you make in a laboratory a substance that would help me biologically or physiologically? If you could do that, and if you could really do that, then you are God. Only nature or God makes something electrical. No man could do that. I'm going to give a simple example. On the planet, minerals are expressed in two forms. One phosphate, one oxide. Meaning what? There are 142 minerals. We begin with gold, silver, osmium, iron, phosphorus, iron, magnesium. They come in the form of a rock. 142 different minerals in the planet. They come in the form of a rock. But that rock also have a plant that is representative of that mineral. Why a plant form? Because the plant, in sending its root into the soil, it converts that solid rock into a liquid digestible substance. Iron trophoresis could only be accomplished by a plant, not a laboratory. You can't take a piece of rock that is iron into a laboratory and get a liquid from it that's going to be digestible, because now it becomes non-electrical. The plant makes it electrical.
Disease cannot live in an alkali environment.
Acidity has but one purpose. Acidity enters the human body to destroy cells, to cause cell erosion. Alkalinity comes to support life and to maintain electricity.
Deficiency of iron causes up to 20 different diseases to manifest. The deficiency of iron. In sickle cell anemia, what is occurring? What occurs is that the acid situation in the blood has broken the cell into a sickle, allowing oxygen and iron to escape. But what is resting in the cell is a bed of mucus. Removing the mucus from the blood, the cell reunite, the cycle reunite, then you feed the patient nascent iron. Why iron? Because it is the mineral in question, the blood. If it was the bones, then it would not be iron. It would be what? Calcium. If it was the brain, it's copper and carbon. If it's the spleen, it is phosphorus. And so it goes. All the cells of the body is distributed through different cell groups made up of different minerals. Our food was alkali. And what are those foods today? Well, today there is amaranth bread, there's also quinoa, kamut, and you could eat mushrooms, a lot of them, so various mushrooms on the market today. There's also the hemp milk, which is very good. Then there's Seamoss. Seamoss scientifically is known as Chondrus crypsis, and it's supposed to have potassium iodide, potassium phosphate, a large percentage of calcium and magnesium. This is why I could fall on my knees on concrete right now at 78. I don't feel any pain. I fall from a standing position. Seamoss strengthen the bones. Seamoss strengthen the brain. Seamoss have the power to bind radioactivity. Seamoss is powerful. I didn't make Seamoss. God did. I just combined Seamoss and they make a beautiful combination. Epilepsy. But it was easy for me to see it. It was about cleansing the body and giving the patient accumulation. Okay, I had to clean the human body because everything that we've been eating jammed us up. It's kind of a clogged system. Capillaries, veins, and everything else is clogged. So declogging it, you have to see results. And I remember that I gave people compound that was designed to de-obstruct, and then he came back telling me these weird stories about how they're sleeping and how his sex came back.